Call the City of Westfield, Indiana Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for March the 30th, 2016 to order. Please note the presence of quorum.
We do have a quorum.
Very good. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes for February 24th, 2016
Make a motion to approve?
Second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 2, Haven Crest Homes illicit discharge appeal.
They're not here,
So we don't,
so we just pass along. This was their opportunity to argue a lesser fine or liability for it.
Okay,
Missed it.
and do they request it, Brian, or do they,
No, I
it just
sent a notice.
automatically?
Yeah, I sent
Okay.
them a notice. This by ordinance would go to the council, but the council delegated it here.
Right, got it, thank you.
okay. Moving on to action item number 3, CEMP Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan adoption.
The CEMP is just an update. It's was produced by the county EMA, and it's already inside a document inside Westfield Ready. So this is just an updated document.
Are there major changes or anything that you want to flag for us, or just,
No, there's no major changes.
okay?
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
So we've done this before.
A couple times. I want to do a little bit more too. Under bid approval, action item number 4, Contract A, Mill Street roadway project.
Public Works has a rather lengthy agenda of things here. I would offer the opportunity for police and fire to give their updates so that they don't have to hang around for the entire thing if they would like to do that. It's up to them. It's your discretion.
Okay, well, let's do that then. Looks like Chief Rush is up.
For the, there should be, I don't see on the approval for
Yeah.
an officer.
It's under, first item under
It's under
consent agenda.
consent agenda.
Great. Yeah, this is one I kind of briefed you on last time. We had the opportunity with the schools to put on a school resource officer in this year, fully funded by the school. So we'll be putting an officer that's on our staff now in that role. It's going to be Tyler Doherty, one of our newer officers. And in doing that, it opens up another spot for us. And this approval is that person, who is Wade Patron. He will be graduating St. Joe College this May. He was an intern for us last year for 3 months. That's when we learned about him and figured that we better grab him while we can. So we already have, yes, there is a, so he will be starting the academy July 11th upon your approval. So, he's been given a conditional offer based off of your, on condition that you do approve it. He's already had his physical, psychological, PT test, and a written test. So really, other than the pension board and the approval from PERF, this is the only thing we have outstanding, so.
Okay.
Is it different training for a school resource officer versus a
No, it's all the same.
same?
There's a couple of specialty trainings that Tyler will have to go through prior to fall, and we've already scheduled those.
Okay.
Good.
Anything else you want to mention from the,
From the PD?
Yeah.
I did, this is, I handed you
Yes.
one. Randy, I gave you
Thank
one.
you. I have one.
I saw it online, I think.
Yes, it is posted on our website. That's your copy. Other than that, we will be traveling to St. Louis on Friday with the mayor for our accreditation. So we're pretty excited about that. And the other item is all of our new officers are trained in solo car except for the Adam Zozo who just came on last month. So we're getting there.
Good. Thank you. Chief Lyons?
We recently applied for a SAFER grant. We were granted a SAFER grant in 2011 to hire 12 people. We've applied to hire 6 off of this SAFER grant. So it'll be a year or so before we find out anything that we've applied for.
Okay.
Other than that, it's nothing else new.
Kate? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So do we want to go into the Public Works report and then go back to action item number 4? Or how are we going to do this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Do you want me to stick around?
Thank you.
Public Works has primarily been working on street maintenance since the last meeting, mostly pothole repair. So a lot of, actually we're in much better condition than we were last year just because of a more mild winter, and I think our roads are improving. So we're doing that internally this year as compared to last year and the year before we did some contracting. So that'll allow us to take that budgeted money and put it towards some additional maintenance applications. From a parks perspective, we're still finishing up this restroom over here in Simon Moon. There's a slight delay in some of our utility connections, so we will be ready to go to turn the lights on as soon as Duke connects the power, which we're about 4 weeks out from that. Our project processes, Monon Phase 6, was the majority of that was constructed last year. We'll be ramping back up, or has ramped back up, with the installation of lighting foundations. So we'll see lighting go up soon, as well as the finishing touches on the rest of that project. Mill Street Extension Project, we'll talk a little further in depth about this when we get to the awarding of the contracts. The Westfield Boulevard extension, formerly known as the West Access Road, still tying up some ends on land acquisition there, but our hope is to start that construction on that project later this summer. And then Midland Trail Section 4 is this section of Midland over here out to the east from where it stops now, which is Gunther Boulevard, all the way to our city limits of Gray Road. Clearing started on that, and construction will be bid and let here later on in about a month or so, and that'll finish up this year as well. The only other major project we have right now, and I didn't put it on here, is the 191st Street repair work.
Yeah, what's going on there?
So that was kind of an emergency repair, somewhat of an emergency repair. So we milled it all in place, and we're putting 2 layers, 2 courses of asphalt to construct and smooth to bridge the gap between now and when we do the full reconstruct Boulevard project, which we foresee 3 or 4 years down the road. So it'll be.
What caused the emergency?
The road was just failing. It was in dire.
And is that just from use and the construction
It's
north of
mostly
there?
the construction north, construction from US 31.
Okay.
We had the roundabout construction.
Wasn't a problem
too.
with the materials or the?
No, it's just an old county road that really never got improved. And so this is not the permanent fixture, but it is a cost-effective way to make that
Right.
entrance a little prettier and smoother on the way to Grand Park.
And that's where is that Tomlinson
It's from
East?
It's from the limits of 31, so where 31
Uh-huh.
stopped, to Tomlinson, and then everything from Tomlinson to Spring Mill. So where we constructed the roundabout both ways. So it'll be new from 31 all the way to Spring Mill Road, which is the west boundary of the park.
Right. And did you say that that's not temporary, but that's a bridge until something else happens as part of the long range plan?
Yeah, the long range plan
Sorry.
is more of a boulevard section
Got
up
it.
there, similar to Wheeler Road going north.
Okay.
It's just an
And
expensive
that's
project.
5 years, 10 years, when is that?
Correct.
Yeah, it's depending on development
Somewhere
in
down
that area.
down the
yeah.
road, so to
So as
speak.
we
Okay.
see more commercial hotels, things like that, paying road impact fees, then we'll,
Right,
we
okay,
have like a 30% design on that now. It's more conceptual than anything, but
okay.
other than that, I would have offered answering any questions associated with any of our other projects.
I was gonna ask you about 191st,
Okay.
I'd seen that was,
Yep.
but to get to Monon Trails and Chatham,
Mm-hmm.
Tomlinson remains open?
Tomlinson is open.
Tomlinson will be
Yeah.
unaffected.
And this will wrap up probably by the end of next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's
just a
a
real
pretty short,
temporary-
short
okay.
project.
Great.
Yeah. So we're supposed to have asphalt, so down the first layer of asphalt done today or by the end of the week. And then we'll finish up hopefully early next week, depending on weather.
Okay,
Excuse me, speaking of weather, I've been a little under the weather. So yeah, any other questions, Public Works related? Okay. We'll move back up to
Action item number 4.
action item number 4. You may recall this Mill Street project has been on our list of utility proceeds projects for a period of time now. We were planning to construct it last year, at least start last year. The bids came back quite a bit higher than what we'd expected, so we backed up and divided that one large contract into 3 smaller contracts to help specialize some of the work, specifically the stream restoration piece. So essentially the roadway construction group can bid effectively on the roadway. The stream, which is a really small network of companies that can do that, it's very specialized. That way they could bid on that specific piece. And then the mitigation is the trees that we took down for regional detention, which is where we saw the clearing just south, and plant those throughout the city in different locations. So I will open up to Mr. Pence over here to discuss the contract A for the roadway.
Okay, the first contract for the road, which includes the road, the 3-sided arch, the base of
bid review.
berm, project, and some work, which includes sanitary, that we will get some reimbursement from CEG for.
Which comes later as
yeah.
another action item.
Yeah, we had 3 bidders on it. The low bidder was Kreider and Kreider. Their bid amount was $3,460,000, which our estimate was $3,444,000. So basically, pretty much right at our estimate and everything like that.
So 16,000 over the engineer's estimate. This is for the roadway itself as well as the structure to create the regional detention, which is to the south of it. So it's the bridge, the levee, as well as the channel flow through, and then that regional detention basin. So what we're asking for here is board approval for us to issue the notice to proceed, and then we'll take the contracts from that point forward. Is there
I'll make a motion to move forward
Okay,
on the recommendation of staff.
of action item number 4. And I will second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 5, contract B, Mill
Okay.
Street Stream Restoration Project.
This is the part that was really needed mostly to be separated out, as Jeremy said. We actually have, this was bid, the bid opening was on Friday. We had 2 bidders, Flatland Resources and Kreider and Kreider. And with this one, it also included an alternate bid for some stone work and things like that. So the total price for this came in at $527,047. Our estimate was $558,706, which included for the alternate.
This is the contract where our engineer identified a potential conflict of interest. We have discussed that with legal, and we don't foresee that there's a problem. Am I not?
Yeah, right.
Reason being is, so to give you some background, Flatland Resources is a subcontractor of our engineer that was brought in to focus on this project. They also are a construction company and bid on it, and came in below the engineer's estimate, so below Lockmueller's estimate, and beat the second bidder by $500,000.
Isn't that unusual, that spread?
I would say it is if it wasn't such a specialized thing. Because Kreider and Kreider is a road construction company. So
And you said this was kind of a narrow universe.
it is very narrow.
And my question is, have we reached out and tried to engage? I guess I'm asking about a process that's over already, but I'm just curious. Do we reach out to the narrow universe and ask them? And the only two responses we got.
Correct. Yeah, we went through all the formal processes of advertising we advertised this one for an extended period of time due to the complexity. We've reached out to multiple firms to put in bids, and we only ended up getting 2 bids. So, yeah, we actually went out and solicited bids.
There, off the top of my head, there's only really 2 companies that I think of that can do this kind of work, or that do. we contacted. Did you contact 3?
Three altogether.
Yeah, so Flatlands plus 2 others. Flatlands was the only one that submitted a bid, as well as Kreider. Kreider did because they're
doing the rest
won
of
the
the
bigger
job.
project.
Why not?
Yeah,
Plus
so-
the other contractors for the road project that can do, they can do that type of work, they just don't. When they are a little unfamiliar with it, they basically pass the risk on in their price.
which is what we saw when we bid it the first time, and the overall
I see.
cost savings by breaking it out was roughly $800,000 less this time than it was the first
Got it.
time. 500 of it shows up right here.
Right.
So
And there's, and again, I know I'm fine with this. I'm just curious. There's no benefit to, Kreider and Kreider's price sort of builds in the fact that we're going to be here already working in this area. All of those things, and it's still
Yes.
twice as
and
high.
That's actually why we bid the road project on Tuesday, so we would know who was basically the apparent low bidder, just to give them opportunities to bid on the other 2 contracts.
Yeah.
So
And
they could hopefully save with mobility.
Right.
I think
Okay.
even if Kreider wasn't the low, I think we would have seen whoever the apparent low bidder is for the road project bid on the other 2
Yes,
as well.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Because they are there and they don't have the mob costs.
Right. Got it. Okay.
Keep in mind too, sometimes these guys, they just want to throw a bid out there. So they look like they're interested, look like they're
Sure.
there, and they'll sometimes pump it way up so they don't get the bid, they just want to be in it.
Right. Okay.
They get
And like you
with a
said,
profit
best,
margin.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna make a bunch of money and push the risk off.
Make a motion to approve action item number 5, contract B.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 6, contract C, Mill Street Mitigation Project.
Okay, this mitigation is basically the establishment of wetlands. We actually have 3 different kind of locations where we're doing this. Kind of a smaller contract. Our estimate for this was $137,000. The low bid came in at $145,285 by Cardno. We had 2 bidders, which was Kreider and Kreider and Cardno were the only 2 bidders. This is also kind of a specialty type of items for kind of wetland mitigation type of work.
And that's what I'm not familiar with Cardno. That's what they specialize in.
Yep.
Okay.
And both of those bids were fairly close, within 15,000. These are kind of harder to estimate as well from our standpoint.
Make a motion to approve action item number 6.
Second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 7, Westfield Construction Standards and Specification Changes.
So we went through kind of a major overhaul of Westfield specifications. I think we're going to be doing this annually and maybe even a little more frequently. Not quite this depth, I'd say, but there was a House bill we had to incorporate with respect to bonding. There were some pavement modifications that we made to get a better product here in the city. There were a couple other changes, some drawing changes. I don't know if you guys had a chance to review, if you guys have any specific questions. It's a big document, so we highlighted all the changes in yellow to simplify.
That was my question. Was how long have we had the document? These are additions to, not a completely new document. That was what I was trying to-
Correct, yeah.
Correct, and a large part of this function is to further eliminate our utility specifications. So we had a lot of
References to
references to
Right,
water and
sure.
sewer.
Sure. Yeah.
This largely removes all of that. So the goal is that now we'll do an annual revision and keep things on track. And then as we go and change things mildly, you may see one-offs here and there as industry standards change, etc. So we can go through as much or as little as you'd like. Was there? I don't know if there's anything that stood out to you.
I didn't read all the way through, but there was nothing
I didn't
that
have anything.
I had a question about, so.
Okay. This has been an ongoing process. We've been working with Baggy as well as the development community. We've had a series of meetings, interaction type meetings to get feedback and get advice from them, as well as to try to compromise and make sure that we're meeting what our requirements need to be and the things that we need to cover, and not being too cumbersome to the developers. So, long ongoing process, probably 6 or 7 months in the making.
And we'll see this every year when you make.
I think
it-
you. I
it-
think
when
we
you make
will.
more
updates.
there might be some small changes here and there as we come through.
Yeah, I think there's some detail, so the graphic picture changes that you may see here and there as we have time to change them. Nothing that's changing any kind of requirement, just fine tuning some of the drawings.
Good.
So.
Make a motion, we approve action item number 7.
Second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Down to action item number 8, utility reimbursement agreement approval delegation.
What this is a part of the Mill Street roadway project. There is an alternate bid in there for roughly $122,000.
Should be in the second part, yeah.
We've been working with Citizens Energy Group to do two things to remove the old infrastructure out of what will be internal to Grand Junction Plaza, as well as to help them to develop from a capital projects to be able to handle the capacity of future development. So they were capital planning for a lift station in the downtown area somewhere. So we helped identify an area where that would be best suited for the park, so that we don't have a lift station in the middle of the park, and
Be good.
to install the necessary infrastructure for that as a part of our roadway project. So we came to terms. What this agreement is you guys granting me the authority to sign off on a reimbursement agreement. So we will upfront the cost of construction of $122,000 worth of sanitary infrastructure, and then they will pay us back at 100% of that cost.
It's
Plus
some of the
any change
some of
orders.
the benefits. If we had them separately contract this, after our road was in, they'd be cutting our road. They'd be
Right.
messing with the locals there.
Yeah.
It's hugely cumbersome. So this, by incorporating this into our contract, it's really a win-win for everybody out there.
It is.
Especially the local
Yeah.
residents there.
And in that way, they're not coming back in 2 years and tearing up our new road and really disrupting the businesses, the restaurants and things, and whatever might come in between. So.
And we have control over the timeline when it's in.
And that's really the benefit from us, is because this allows us to manage it the way we want to. And there's some savings to them for that too. Huge savings cost-wise from having to do it later, but they're going to have an inspector that comes down and looks at their piece, and that's all the skin they have in the game other than reimbursing us. So.
If the cost is beyond what the estimate is, would we be notified of that?
You can be if you'd like. Yeah, so anything above what the quoted amount, which is the award was $121,000 635. Anything above that would have to have a approved change order that's signed by them and by us.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I can certainly
That'd
include
be
you in
great.
that.
Good.
Yep. Make a motion, we approve action item number 8, utility reimbursement agreement delegation.
I'll second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Down to the consent agenda. We've already had information about the new hire. Do you have any questions or any explanation on the consent agenda?
I don't think so.
Then I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And that, unless anyone has anything not on the agenda, that's it.
I am good. I have nothing else.
Anybody? Anyone else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank
both
you,
very much.
everybody.